Paranormal Investigators with Shawn and Cody.
What is up, guys? We are back doing what we love. We're podcasting.
Yes, and we're making this a little special.
We're making this crazy special, guys. So we are in the middle of the farmhouse right now.
We are podcasting at the farmhouse.
Dude, I'm so excited right now.
I've got goosebumps because I am so excited at this point.
Everybody knows, you've seen our videos. We've talked about this place. This place is crazy haunted.
We have a book about this place.
Right.
We've set up and we had voices.
Yeah.
The REM pods.
The REM pods going off. So, guys, we have this place set up with REM pods. There's cameras on us. There's cameras on the building.
Right.
Shawn and I we wanted to get back to our roots. We're still doing videos. Don't get us wrong. We're still doing videos. Yes. Those are going to be out all the time. But we really want to get back and share with you guys the backstory of everything and really dive deep about locations.
Yes.
Right?
I think what drove us to do this is because we had so many people ask us about certain things that happen at a location. And so this really gives us a chance to go into it deep and them getting the experience of what we felt. You know, they get to see us what's happening, but they don't really understand some of the things that have happened.
Exactly. And that's what's cool about it. And to my knowledge, nobody else has done this.
We are breaking new ground in the paranormal field.
And depending on how much you guys like this video and how much you guys like this style, because this isn't everybody's cup of tea. Right. We get that.
Right.
So depending on how much you guys like this, we need the feedback. We might be doing this at every location we go to.
Yeah.
You know, Shawn and I were talking, dude, when we're done filming, let's do a podcast about the episode at the location.
Absolutely. And we might have like these big bags under our eyes because after an investigation, we're usually just totally, a ball of mess, right?
Right.
And it's awesome because we kind of hit two different places, right?
Yeah.
The podcast world, like people love to listen to us as they're going to work on their radios. Obviously, what are the platforms we get a chance to put them on, right?
So it'll be all over Spotify. It'll be all over iTunes. It'll all be over Podbean. So you can watch all of that. And as well, YouTube. So the YouTube listeners, you're going to have a little more extra because there is video.
Right. You guys get a chance to watch, listen, as well as, we're in the farmhouse.
Yeah.
So this place is extremely haunted, and you guys get a chance because we're just going to release this.
Yeah.
So you guys get to put in the chat, not in the chat, but down in the comments, oh my God, I heard this voice.
And I guarantee you there will be voices in this podcast.
This is the farmhouse. And if you don't know the farmhouse, guys, you're in for a treat. You should watch some of the past videos, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, guys. Hey, YouTube has been amazing. We're not stepping away from YouTube.
Right.
If anything, we're just getting started. We're just adding more to our toolbox.
Yes. It. Yeah, we're trying this. I don't think we're going to have to try this. I think people are going to love this.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to actually get a chance to hear what our experiences were at the location, as well as we'll probably catch more evidence.
Absolutely. We're going to really have to try and train ourselves to get out of the investigated mode while we're here, because I'm hearing everything and I want to go up. Where's the K2? Where's the pod? So unless something gets punched through the wall, we're going to sit right here.
Get a big old slap across the face because, Frank's over here going, hey, you guys aren't doing a podcast in my home. You know what I mean?
But, so Shawn, let's tell everybody why we're here. Why did we pick the farmhouse to talk about? We'll call him a special guest who we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes. What I like, we're at the farmhouse. Obviously, we have a book. We have, this place we've investigated it. But we're going to talk about somebody that I know personally people have asked about on multiple occasions.
Right.
We're going to talk about the preacher.
The preacher.
I got goosebumps even talking about it. Just even thinking about, you guys are going to get the intimate, what was that?
I just heard a female voice, dude.
I heard her. She made a moan. So again, thank you. We're going to stay in this podcast. Like we said, we're going to try to stay out of the investigation mode. Again, hey, all these guests are allowed to be here. She probably doesn't like the idea of us saying the preacher, because preacher is not a pleasant
So so let's bring it back, dude. I mean, the preacher has been with Shawn and I for quite some time.
Heard another voice, but
Yeah. And I think it's all the way back to the Victorville warehouse.
yes,
Right?
it was the Victorville warehouse.
So we were at the we actually have an episode on this, guys. It's a very, very old episode.
Yes.
And we're at a Victorville warehouse. It's actually my dad's work. And we're investigating, and that's the first time we heard the word preacher. I think it came up on the obelisk.
Yes, it did. It did.
Right.
It came up on the obelisk, and that place had a lot of really crazy activity, right?
Right.
Remember the flash of light?
Yeah.
And we didn't catch it on camera because we were very new at trying to catch things on camera.
Yes.
But yeah, that's where it started.
No, absolutely. No. We caught that. I think that's when the preacher came up, too, is when we seen that flash of light. We went to go investigate, and we caught the word preacher, but we didn't think anything of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think
You know.
we were just starting to learn
Do our
how to
own.
investigation,
Right.
So it was very adamant as we went along that this paranormal activity, this entity,
Right.
has followed us around.
And guys, you've seen the videos. You've seen preacher on several different occasions where it have been mentioned in our sensory deprivations.
Right.
A lot in our sensory deprivations.
Yeah.
What does the preacher look like to you?
So, from my perspective, I saw the preacher as I don't want to say the name of the movie because of copyrights.
Sure.
But he reminds me of a old time preacher. He's got a flat hat. He's got the little black tie, white shirt, and the long cover jacket. And he's
like a peacoat type of thing.
Right, a peacoat with sunken eyes, and they're gray around his eyes.
So literally almost to the T, the same thing I see when I see the preacher.
Yeah.
It's very early on when it happens, but we don't really know. We didn't know for a while that it was following us, right?
Right. I mean, I think after a couple of investigations and it would come up, we're like, holy cow, this entity is following us.
Right. But again, we're trying to capture evidence. We're trying to prove the paranormal, so we're not fearful of it. We're trying to capture it.
Yeah.
If anything.
Yeah. We want to understand what it is, right?
Right.
Because we don't believe that when we're dealing with an entity, we're dealing with darkness, darkness and the light, right? So we believe there's a lot going on in between. And we believe, obviously, the preacher is more into the darker side of things. But again, it's not black and white. There's a lot of in between, I believe.
Well, and that brings up a very good point. And again, we'll get into this a little deeper later on in the podcast. But what do you think the preacher is, in your opinion?
I think as it progressed, I felt as early on, I thought it was definitely dark. I thought it was more of a demonic entity. There is a point where I believe it's representing dark. It's representing maybe demonic, but it is not a demonic entity. I believe it has the ability to take over someone, and we'll go into that.
We'll talk to that. Yeah, I agree with you. I do not think it's demonic. Again, everybody likes to say it's demonic. Everybody likes to say, demons and the devil, and that you can place that to a lot of things. Hollywood is huge on it, right? But
Exactly.
everybody, whether you like it or not, everybody likes the dark stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you'll see it in our titles on YouTube, and unfortunately, that's the way to get people to, if they type that up, our video pops up.
Right.
But again, you guys get a chance to really understand. We get to hear what we believe and understand of this entity, and what we do on our videos.
Right. Well, let's talk about the locations where we've picked up the preacher. What's a location that's prominent to you?
Well, I mean, that's jumping really up to more recent, but
it is.
I think one of the really where we felt like the preacher wasn't showing itself as a human being entity. I want to go to the Donner Tunnels. Was that what you were doing?
No,
See what I mean?
dude, it's right by you, bro.
It knows I'm unnerved, and it wants to keep doing it.
Chinese descendant?
Are you the preacher?
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that?
That asked if it was the preacher, and it sounded like a huge fucking bird flew by. Asked if it was the preacher, and it sounded like a huge fucking bird flew by. Oh my God.
So here's the thing, guys.
Our eyes, dude, tell it all.
I can't even think. The preacher has been following us for a long time, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The Donner Tunnels.
So we caught, and I'll go right into it.
Why not?
We caught in the Donner Tunnels what sounded like a bird flapping its wings.
A batted creature.
I mean,
if
it was.
you will.
It was. You guys see it in the video. Sean and I, we have both cameras going. We look at each other at the same time, and our eyes get huge.
See, I don't want to call it fear because we're not fearful, but what the.
Call it a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Call it a Mothman.
or even a cryptid, right?
Yeah, I mean that thing was loud.
But I think the preacher can do and be whatever it wants.
I agree.
I believe it's a negative, dark entity.
I agree. And I know we're jumping around a bit, guys, but that's because the preacher's been so engulfed in our journey, if you will. But it's almost like there was a buildup with the preacher. Does that make sense?
It's almost like the preacher understood that it was going to take a lot for it, and I'll call it to bring fear to us. I know at the Donner Tunnels, I was very uncomfortable because when you were under sensory, whatever I was saying, the equipment was going off all around us, and you didn't know, and you were saying things that were direct responses to what I was saying.
How many rocks were thrown at you at the Donner Tunnels?
3. He was under. I had a rock dropped right next to me, and then when you were out of it, there was a rock next to me, and I don't get unnerved very easily.
No.
And I was almost out of my skin, and then the last one. Then the last one.
So the Donner Tunnels in itself is crazy,
right?
Aside from the preacher, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you have all that going on. The Chinese slaves building the railroad, the tunnels, the mountains, all of that going, and then you add in the preacher, and it's just off the chain. Right.
You could feel when we walked in that place again. We didn't realize that the preacher's gonna make its presence known. Well, when we walked in that place again, we didn't realize that the preacher's gonna make its presence known.
Right.
You could feel like the oppression that was there. You could feel like when you walked in, like all the pain and the suffering these individuals went through. And I mean, what a perfect spot for a dark entity to hang out, right? That oppressive energy, just to feed off that energy and to make its presence known and try to build fear into what we do. Because I believe that the preacher doesn't want us to do what we're doing, and that's the research, right?
I agree, and there's been a lot of comments on our videos. Why don't you just cleanse the preacher? Why don't you just get rid of it? It's bad for you to keep it around. So guys, you have to understand our goal, and this has been our goal since day one, is to catch and prove the paranormal exists.
We are researching the paranormal. Yes, it's entertaining. You guys get a chance to be a part of this investigation.
Watch me run and scream.
Yeah. Jump out of our skin. But the real goal is, and this is an honor to be able to share this with our watchers and our viewers and our listeners, that the goal is to capture the paranormal. People ask me, hey, why don't you do your mediumship and say what's going on? Well, the point is we are trying to research, we're trying to capture, we're trying to prove that there's paranormal.
100%, and I'm so glad you brought that up about the mediumship abilities, because just our recent video, we had you present that, right?
Right.
And that was the cabin, the murder cabin.
Yeah.
We had you go in, you had no idea where we were going. I had you outside, and you came in and you nailed what happened.
And see, what people don't see in a lot of our episodes is, even because a lot of times Cody's getting people to go to him and say, hey, I got this location, and I start picking up things like right away.
Right.
So I purposely refrained. I kind of felt like I tried to not get the impressions, because usually when he talks about a spot, I open myself up to feel what's there. So we purposely, for the cabin, I said, I'm not going to try to connect to it. And we waited until we got to the location. And
a lot of you guys asked, and I know we're going off a little off subject, but that's fine. You guys asked, why doesn't Shawn show more side of that? I like seeing that. So do I. Shawn likes doing it, but again, we got to go back to our goal, and our goal is to prove, and we can't prove. I mean, sure, you guys can believe Shawn, you can believe us. We're truthful with you guys, but we can't prove without a shadow of a doubt that we can't prove paranormal exists through his mediumship.
Yeah. Well, what's nice about, again, we're going off track a little bit here, but the cabin, what was happening was actually in line with what I picked up on it,
right?
Which was good. Not the actual facts, but what was going on with the equipment. But again, going back to really, we're here to capture on film, cameras, on recorders, on equipment, so you guys get a chance to see that there's something going on in a location.
Well, we know it's real.
Yeah, we know
I
it's
mean,
real.
we've experienced, we've seen things. I've felt things that I know there's no way that there isn't something out there.
Right.
You know?
And you guys get a chance, or even some of you guys have got a chance to actually hear things that we didn't pick up.
Right.
Because that's the beauty of our videos. Yeah, we go through them, and sometimes we just miss stuff.
Right.
And you guys actually catch it.
Yeah.
Which is great, because we like the interaction. We're not always going to catch everything, because there's hours and hours of video that we're going through, right? You guys obviously we're raw, and you get a chance to see us go through the investigation raw, but the static cameras will pick up stuff there, or you guys will hear it. We don't, when you're editing and you don't really hear something, you guys pick it up, which is just an extra, right?
Absolutely.
You guys are researching like we are, so that's just amazing.
Yeah, and that's why we're not focusing on getting rid of the preacher. You know, we want to capture this stuff, and we want to show you guys, hey, this exists. And that kind of brings me up to kind of a next topic with the preacher, Shawn. Do you think his intention from the beginning has been to infiltrate and kind of hit us at our weak spot? Or do you think that he's been here to kind of just see what happens, if that makes sense?
No, I think what we're doing, and the research we're trying to do and trying to document, it doesn't like it. It doesn't want us to find the true of what's going on.
How many times have we been in a location and we've had corrupt files?
Well, that was me. Several.
Lots.
In this location.
This location
times.
alone.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, there's a lot of interaction, especially with the darker stuff.
Yeah.
And a preacher's just one of other things
Sure.
that don't want the story to be told.
Right.
And that could be a murder. That could be things that happened in a location. But the preacher, I think, is above all that. And not above, but he is the core of some of these dark things, and he doesn't want the world to know.
Makes a lot of sense.
The physical beings to know what it is.
And we won't go super, super deep, because we've already talked about this in a past podcast about your possession or demonic oppression, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, where do you think the preacher came from? Because my feeling is it did not come from the Victorville warehouse. That's my initial thought. I think it came from the graveyard.
I agree.
Where you had your attachment.
I agree. I think what happened is the preacher knew what I was about, and I think he knew what you were about. But at the point I was there, it knew what I was about, and it attached to me. And again, we perceive time as a measurement, and the preacher probably already knew what our potential was.
K2 is going off.
We got the K2 going off.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We'll get that on the camera, guys.
Yep.
See, we have a chance to see that. I think that it knew that what our true potential was.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah,
right now.
I just got on the website too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt that he's here right now.
Oh, he 100% is.
Yes.
100%.
So I think what happened there is, and again, I don't think it happened by chance. I think our protection allows these things to happen, which. So in return, our research, right? It really just drives us. And again, I had mine, but you also had yours.
And that brings up a great. so we'll talk about it since you opened that door. The Poltergeist Cabin.
Poltergeist Cabin.
So let's just a little backstory about that place. Aside from the preacher, the place is nuts.
Yes. There's a reason it's called the Poltergeist Cabin.
So guys, it's an old miner's cabin up in Virginia City. You guys, it's our top video, so I know you've mostly seen it. Everybody's mostly seen it. We actually did a collab with the Haunted Side one time there, right?
We did.
And it was so great we wanted to come back.
Right.
We caught insane amount of poltergeist activity, stuff being thrown in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Like, we could feel a blast of energy come right at us, and then it knocked over a board. I mean, everybody's, oh, no, you kicked it. I'm telling you, you're going to know if you kicked a board that big. We felt the energy come through and past us.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Did you do that?
That was me.
Just want to make sure I don't fall. I'm just kind of. What the? Oh shit! Dude, what the fuck was that? Dude, did you feel that?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, whatever the hell that was loud. We ran into that.
And then no,
dude.
I
felt a rush of energy.
Something just ran straight up to us.
Dude, yeah, it came from. Oh, sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Oh, dude. Did you do that?
That was me.
Just want to make sure I don't fall. And we knew there was something going on there. And I remember as we were walking through one of the hallways, a doorknob jiggle.
Yep.
And when I opened up the doorknob and on the other side, there was nothing there.
The place is off the hook with paranormal activity. There's been lots of quote unquote recorded deaths there, and lots of deaths that nobody has no idea about.
Right.
You know, the place is insane. I love going there. Shout out to Northern Nevada Ghost Hunters for allowing us to go there.
Right.
But so let's talk about the second time we went there. Right, we did a collab with Chasing the Darkness,
Yes.
Levy, and the Dead Hours, Vivian.
Yes, absolutely.
Great people, great. They have their own respected channels on YouTube. You guys should check them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we go there and we start investigating, right?
Well, let's back up a little bit. So we were told by Northern Nevada Paranormal, they said that they had just seen a full body apparition the day before.
You're right. I remember Mama J talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and Mama J, guys, she's the facilitator of Northern Nevada Ghost Hunters. So she was talking to us about seeing a full body apparition, and it wasn't just her who saw it. There was two people, and it was in the kitchen.
Yes. Which leads us into this.
Yeah. So we go through the investigation. The whole night's crazy. I mean, stuff's happening. Vivian, who's a solid investigator, right?
Yes, absolutely,
said to us on both separate occasions, both with us, I've never seen so much activity. And honestly, we haven't either. I mean, that place is insane.
Yes.
So we sit down in the kitchen to start doing a sensory deprivation.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
I'm doing the sensory. Sean's asking questions, and guys, you've seen our sensory. You know how it is. It's nuts.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's nuts.
What I like about the sensory, you just talking about it a little bit, and I won't go into the details of it. I liked that this sensory gave it the valid information. Like,
there's validity.
There's validity there. You're not, people, you're faking it. And I'm like, listen, this is not. We have two other people with us that are investigators, that are real investigators, witness this happen. And go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we start talking to, quote unquote, the preacher, or Shawn starts talking to the preacher. I'm.
That was loud, huh?
That was loud.
Yes, it was.
I'm at this point in the sensory. You can almost hear it in my voice. I'm almost in a trance spot, if you will. And I start rocking a little bit. And so you start talking about the preacher. How did that feel when you were?
It felt like you could feel as Cody started changing his voice. Like you could see he was going into a trance. Again, we open ourselves up to communicate, right? And we had no idea the preacher was coming. So when he said preacher, I went, oh no. And I was like, I brought in, and I started getting a little bit aggressive with him. Like, what are you doing here? What is your issue? Why are you following us? And then Cody's really deep, and he's responding directly to the questions I'm asking.
I remember, and it sends shivers up my spine, dude. I remember this clear as day. because I'm watching back the video, right? When I was editing, I just heard footsteps.
I did. I just heard that. That's why I looked over.
I was editing the video, and at one point you say, "Tell us your name."
Yes.
And then I kind of cocked my head. I don't remember doing this, but I cocked my head and I say, "In English?"
It's not Cody.
Hi, Cody. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you're talking through Cody. What is your name? I want to know your name.
In English?
You hear that?
No, I want it in Latin. Yes. And I said yes in English. So again, we don't want to show the fear. We want to show the strength. And I'm like, you said in English, and the only thing I could think of was Latin.
Absolutely.
Again,
but how unnerving was that
for
you?
I was like, oh, we're dealing with the preacher. Because the preacher, that was before, again, we had some other things happen that led me to believe it's really dark. You said in Latin, or I thought instant Latin. I'm going, this thing is here and it's dark and it's bad and it's in a location that it can pick up all kinds of extra energy to do whatever it wants.
Was that another knock?
Yeah, it was. It was very loud. It was very loud. I love
So-
this farmhouse. That was right under us.
That was right underneath.
In the basement. I love this place.
Okay, back on track. So yes, so I say in English, right? Which is just creepy.
Yeah.
It's just you can look at it any way you want. It's just creepy.
Yeah.
So we start talking. Things start getting darker and darker. And Shawn's like, "What is your problem? What do you want? What's going on?" At the same time, this is going on. Again, I can't hear Shawn. I don't know what's going on around me. But I start seeing a tunnel. That's the best way I can explain it, bro. I don't even know if I've told you this, but I start seeing a tunnel and it starts getting closer, like it's getting
tunnel vision, like you're closing out.
Yeah, like I can't see what's going on, even though my eyes are closed. It starts getting real tiny, and then it starts getting hot,
and you could see it in you.
Yeah.
You could see where you're starting to doze off, and like you're going into this deeper state of trance, if you will,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, and again, people say it's the ghost box. People say it was Levy. I really personally believe this was the preacher, but you hear before I freak out. You hear something say, "Hey, Cody." You remember that?
Yes, I do.
And again, everything in my being tells me that was the preacher who said that, not Levy, not the ghost box. Anyway, you hear, "Hey, Cody," and then I flip out.
Yeah. Got all negative ties. Now come over to me.
What the fuck was that, dude? Dude, it's in my head. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's in my head. What the fuck was that?
That was water, dude. Just dropped. You all right? Can't put your hands in.
Shit.
I don't feel like myself. Just give me a second.
Because something it's like something that was the point where it attacked you.
So it and the best way I can describe it, guys, is I felt something go into my head, literally into my head from my third eye, straight in and just kind of grab.
So the thing that really bothered me about this whole thing was when you went into that mode, I was calling him out.
Right.
And I think that was I heard that voice. It really bothered me that all of a sudden you got attacked because I was saying, what the hell are you doing here? In so many words.
Right.
Why are you here? Why do you keep following us? I'm calling it out and I'm being very disrespectful. But I'm being disrespectful because I'm showing we're powerful beings as well.
Right.
And so I felt really bad when it attacked you.
Yeah, and I can see that too. However, I would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
I have done the same
That's what
thing.
but that's the research,
That's
right?
the research of it. But I just remember, and what's crazy is, dude, there's a 10-minute period where I don't remember what happened, and I hope you can speak to that because you see it in my face. It's like a gloss, right?
Right.
I'm
You weren't there.
I remembered I kept saying, "It's in my head. It's in my head."
Yeah. And you weren't there.
I
I knew
don't even know
it
how I
was
got
in
out
you.
of the building.
My whole thing was I went over because again I have practices, and my understanding as a medium, I have practices, and I went to do that, and I knew the preacher knew I could take it out right away.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, no, stop. You're telling me no, don't stop, don't.
And I don't remember any
Yeah,
of that.
and you're like, don't. And I still worked on putting energy in you to try to pull it out. And at that point, I said, let's get him out of the room. And I said, get him out of this room. And Vivian and Levy, Chasing the Darkness, and Dead Hours took you out of the room. And at this point, I'm pissed. I'm pissed off because it attacked my brother.
Right.
And I'm calling it out. Like, come on, motherfucker, come after me. You got something to say, come after me. And it didn't. It left with you. Right. From my understanding. And so when I left back, you were over in the other room where they had brought you, and we were still in the building. And I could still see it. You were still glossed over, and I knew it was still there. And they were going to film it. I said, I want to take you out of the building. And I took them out of the building, and I basically
And that's when I came
exorcised
to.
it.
That's when I came
went
to.
I went into a prayer, and I exorcised it out of you. It didn't leave.
No,
it didn't leave.
It
stayed.
It for sure stayed, but it was it. And I want to talk just real quick. I know we're bouncing, but when we're in sensory deprivation, guys, it's, and I tell a lot of new investigators, new ghost hunters, this: you have to be very careful.
Yes.
You're opening yourself up to anything that wants to talk. And yeah, people say don't do sensory over 15 minutes, don't do sensory for so long, you can blah, 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 blah. Yes, that is true. However, like we've been saying, we're trying to catch paranormal. So we do push the limits. We do push the boundaries.
Yes.
And that's why we did that. I was at a point in that sensory, and this doesn't happen all the time, but I was in a point during that time where I was completely on the borderline of in trance and myself, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's why it had the power. I'm going to use the term power to attach or try to attach.
And again, we strongly suggest that people, because we're made to do this. I mean, we've grown together. When we met, we were meant to work together. We knew that right away. And you can see as we progress in the videos that we are growing as paranormal team. We are a team. We come together. It's like right and left. We know how to do this. We've been doing this, and we've been researching for 15 years. So we don't just say, "Hey, everybody, go try to do this." It's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. We both have done several things in our lives to really understand our protection and how strong it is.
Right.
But yeah, going back to bringing you and what happened to you.
So there was a 10-minute period. I don't remember. Come back into the poltergeist cabin, and we continue the investigation.
Of course,
of course
we did. We caught it on camera.
Yeah, we've caught it all on camera. It was insane. It was insane. So that all happened. Now it was Levy's turn to investigate.
So let me explain. Levy is 6'5", a brick wall, and he is an MMA fighter.
He's a tank.
He is a huge man. Go ahead.
So we go to the kitchen area. We're all standing around, and again, stuff is still happening.
The kitchen area.
We're in the kitchen area again. We got the spirit box going off. I'm filming. Vivian's filming.
Right.
We're filming 2 different shots. Filming Levy. Levy's got his arms crossed like this, and all of a sudden he says, or he's looking down the hallway.
Yeah, right? He's looking. He's sensing something.
Yeah, he's sensing something. He's looking, and then he goes, all of a sudden, Cody's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And
hear that?
I did.
Just
I
walking.
did. Yep.
Okay.
What?
I am full.
So am I.
My hairs are on end.
I don't know if we picked it up on just, for everybody listening. I don't know if we picked it up, but we just heard 3 knocks.
Yeah, or it sounded like footsteps right here, right here off to the left here. Going back to because back when you guys went back into the back.
That's right, the file room.
Yes, the file room, which is a very dark place. It feels.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. So Levy went there, and it looked like he was sensing something there.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he kept calling it out.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you want?
Yeah, Levy at that point I think is when the preacher came back, and I think that when it.
He's here right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's here.
I just got a full vision of him looking.
he was back in that back room, and Levy went in, and again, he's just starting. He was starting to do the paranormal thing. He was more of a urban explorer. So vulnerable. So he basically went over there and he was asking questions, and then he walked out, and you could see the gloss in his eyes.
Right.
He wasn't there, and I could tell. I was looking at him going, "Uh-oh." In my head, I'm going, "Uh-oh."
What's going on?
And something's not right here. And I could feel it.
And that's when he said, he's all, Cody's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then he looked at me. He goes, nothing. I'm all, Levy, what'd you say? And then that's when
I look over and I said, Levy, come here.
Yeah.
And when I said, Levy, come here, an orb came out of him.
Yep. You see it on his video.
Yeah.
The orb comes out of his and comes out of the back of his shoulder. Yeah.
Yep. And at that point, I went back into what I understand. Well, again, I was opened up to whatever I was guided to do. So it was all automatic. I went over to him and I started working whatever the divine told me to do. And I started working on him, and it obviously left him, but it left him in a state of he was falling apart. Like, it really caused him some, he was emotional about it.
Right.
It was that effective.
Do you remember talking to him after the investigation? He said it kept showing Levy his daughter. Yeah. You remember that?
Yes.
Because that's his most vulnerable spot, right?
Yes.
So
talking craps, and he kept getting these ugly visions of his daughter and ugly things about her.
Right.
That's the preacher, man. He wants to go where you're the weakest, and that's dark.
No, it's for sure. There's no doubt about it that it is a low level entity, if you will.
Very dense.
Yeah, very dense. Just a pissed off energy.
Yeah.
I think it's great for film.
Yeah, I think it's a collective. I believe it's a very collective thing. I think there's a lot of things that happen in the Victorville area, and I think that whatever it is, it's collective.
Right.
And I think it's a darkness that, there might have been some rituals going on.
Definitely.
And I think that maybe it was conjured. I think, I just think that it can and it will take advantage of you if you let it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And still to this day, the preacher has been showing up.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to go away. In fact, I think there's going to come a point where we're going to catch this thing, literally catch this thing on film.
Yes, I mean, whatever it comes as, right? Again, we can go back. With the Donner Tunnels was one episode where we actually heard a big winged creature, and in my mind's eye, it didn't look like a fucking bird. Excuse my French. It looked like
a cryptid,
more of a cryptid.
Well, hold on. What about Black Star Canyon?
Yeah,
the same thing.
Yes,
we caught the same thing on film.
Yes, you can see again. We're going, oh my God, this is the second freaking time. Are you kidding me right now?
And dude, we can look at it logically. Sure. Let's look at it logically, right? Yes, there are owls that do have a huge wingspan, right?
Right.
For sure. You're wrong.
Yeah. we're like going, okay, we're looking up and we're going, okay, there's nothing here. Where is it?
So guys, you got to understand, we are skeptics. We do. We try and debunk. We did try and debunk. There's no owls there.
Yeah.
Like
there's a mountain lion, but there's no owls there.
We heard what.
I love this place.
We heard what sounded like a Wendigo.
Yeah. Same flapping.
Yeah.
It was the exact same flapping. We're going, this is the same thing we heard in the freaking Donner Tunnels.
Yeah, it's
same
nuts,
thing,
dude.
Same thing.
And you know what? I'll bring it back to Crown Point, and I'll bring it back actually to the farmhouse, which happened right in this room behind me. Do you remember that black thing we caught up in the rafters? Remember it went real fast?
Yeah, the mass it went.
Yep. We caught that here. We also caught that at Crown Point Mill, which is that
ridiculous.
Place is nuts.
Don't get me started on the Crown Point Mill.
But we caught the same type of thing, right?
Yes.
Who's to say that's not?
No, we also got it over there at what's the one place in Virginia City?
Donovan Mill.
No, it wasn't the mill.
Washoe Club. Yes.
Like the same mass. I don't think it was the preacher there.
No, but
that was. But
right.
It was a capture.
It was a capture. Yeah, I just think it's not the end for the. And everybody's like, well, who is he? I don't know. I don't know who he is.
I believe it's not a specific. I think it's a
Yeah.
collective. I think it is a dark entity. It's not a demonic. I think there's a lot of things that are dark that do the same stuff.
Right.
And maybe it is. I don't know. I really honestly believe that if it was a demonic, it would have been much stronger. And it was or maybe we have the ability because of what we practice, and what we work with. I got an angel right there.
Right.
We work with angels, and angels have a lot of strength. So maybe it's just, again, we are here to research. We're here to prove that there's stuff going on, and we have our protection that allows us to go live on that edge, right?
No, absolutely.
To really push the boundaries.
And we're going to continue, guys. We're going to continue to push the boundaries. We're continuing doing these new things. I mean, we're here right now doing something new, something that I just saw a flash of light like right there.
Well, hopefully that. So again, just letting you guys all know, we have 3 cameras in this room. We have a 3rd camera that's in the other room. Again, this isn't an investigation. We're doing a podcast to talk about the preacher. But again, any Patreon gets to see that 3rd camera that's in the room.
Right. So guys,
footsteps.
Yeah. So if you guys, you want to become a Patreon member, you can actually see that. The link is in the description below. So check that out.
With that being said, that helps us
Yes.
go out of the state, right? We get a chance to go to these new locations and exciting locations.
No, absolutely. No, it helps us tremendously, guys. Even just liking the video and commenting helps us.
Yes, and it's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it helps more than you guys know. Donations are never, ever required.
Yeah.
But
subscribe helps.
Yeah, but to see the extra stuff, we do put a lot of time and effort into this.
Right.
Patreon's the way to go.
Yeah.
What do you think, dude? What is something we can do? That just popped in my head, but what is something we can do to try and talk to the preacher?
I think we're already trying to. I don't think it wants to talk to us.
I
really
agree.
honestly believe we're a threat to it. It really doesn't, because we're getting to where we're exposing it. Not everybody goes, oh, here's this dark thing that wants to attack me and partially possess.
Right.
And guess what? Come on back, buddy. Let's talk. He's going like, oh shit, these guys aren't running off.
Right.
So I think we're a threat. I think it doesn't. It's like, well, what was it going to take?
I think we should go back to the cemetery.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny, and I just a real quick story when that happened. That I stepped out of paranormal investigating.
You did?
It scared the living daylights out of me.
Absolutely.
I stepped away. What was it? It was 6 months.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I truly and once all of it went by, we won't go into that story, but once it was cleared, angelic, I knew I was supposed to do this.
Absolutely.
I mean,
well, it gave you a chance to look at that side of things, right?
It happened intentionally.
Right, the way it was supposed to.
Right. It happened. It was allowed to happen. It was an experience I was supposed to have. So we could do what we're doing, and to understand that we are all powerful. Did you? Something just came up to us. Do you hear that?
Yeah. No, I feel goosebumps.
That's the preacher. I can. Wow. I'm like total goosebumps, dude. Okay.
You guys, this is so unnerving.
Yeah,
like we're in the middle of the freaking dark, haunted location,
the farmhouse,
talking about the preacher. Like,
and we're hearing all this knocking. Even before we got started, that REM pod
went off. But no, that's what I'm saying though. So I say to go back to the graveyard.
Let's do it.
I mean, we're pushing the limits, right? That's what we want to do. We want to push the boundaries of the paranormal.
Right.
Go back to where it happened.
We want to capture. We want you guys that get a chance to see and have the experience that we're having.
Absolutely.
Again, I love that we're doing this again. I love that we get a chance to explain what happened to us and how we felt when it happened.
Well, the podcasting, guys, is just another chance to connect with all of you. But Shawn and I love this.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
it's our passion.
The podcast is so much fun. We get to talk about ourselves, which who doesn't like to do that?
I mean, come on.
No, it's just a fun time.
Right,
you know,
right.
And I'll tell you guys, I love filming. I love editing. I love making videos, as you do.
Absolutely.
But this is a lot less stressful. Let me just say, it's a lot less stressful.
Well, it's funny as we're messing around with paranormal, that's less stressful. I mean, it's kind of funny. I think, I work with people that, I have my job and I think people, when I talk about the paranormal and I talk about what you and I do, you can see and hear, and I've had comments say, you can tell, well, shout out to Michael, you can tell the passion and what you're what you truly care about, and it is this. Here we go
again, dude. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, it's amazing being sitting here with the Mountain Man Media.
Whoa, here we go.
The modern day James Dean. You remember that? You remember that?
Yes, the podcasting.
It's awesome just sitting here talking about what we love.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a new thing. I think people are going to like this. Even if they don't, I really don't care.
I love it. We're gonna do it, and again, the passion, the desire, the opportunity to share with you guys, and our captures and our experiences, and so these people that are really searching, we get to share that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys get a chance to see. Again, Cody doesn't want to call himself a medium yet, but he's really gifted, and I get a chance to use my abilities. I give readings. And if you talk to anybody that's had a reading from me, they're fucking accurate.
Yeah.
And it's because we connect with the spirit world. And the readings obviously are a little bit different. You're dealing with loved ones, right? But it's a little different. And I get a chance to really use my abilities, and you do too. Again, you guys see him going to trance. I went to classes for trance mediumship, and he's doing it. Like, I worked with Lisa Williams. I worked with James Van Prague. I worked with these well-known mediums. I went to training with them.
Yeah.
And you get a chance, and you're naturally gifted. There's a level of mentorship, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think
natural.
it's natural, but it's also being in this field,
Yes.
in the paranormal field, and researching. You open yourselves up to everything.
To allow whatever happened to happen. K2 hit real hard.
Yep.
The beautiful thing is, I actually, that might be my phone. I need to turn my airplane phone. The beautiful thing is, in the my first grade, I was going into the bookstore and getting ghost books.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you got it.
That's because you're weird.
Yeah, well, I am. Of course I am.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the same. You know what I mean? I love the unknown about this.
Yes.
That's what I love. That is going crazy.
Yeah,
and
that
your
is
phone's
going,
on
that's
airplane.
my phone. I turned it on airplane mode. There's no reason that should be going crazy. So something's next to us. Great.
Perfect.
Touch the REM pod while we're talking.
So that's kind of what I wanted to kind of just spring this on you, because we're live right now talking. What if we do like a little minute of silence and just see if the REM pods or something will go off?
Sure, right. And again, we'll put it out there. Whatever spirits are here, we've heard the lady several times. Mm-hmm. Would you mind, for everyone that's listening, and would you mind having some of the equipment go off, and we'll stay quiet? That was right next to you, right?
That was right here. Oh. All right, so that's not our equipment, but we heard something in the room.
Yeah, it sounded like footsteps.
Yeah.
Right? That was my stomach, of course.
Well, hey, we appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, bro, this was fun.
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun, dude.
Again, I hope you guys enjoy. Again, we love it, of course, and we have this huge passion for it. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I mean, this is really what we truly love.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, expect more episodes like this. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
In the comments.
Please let us know. Share this video out. If you guys want to see more of it, great. If you don't, let us know. I don't care.
Please, if you like it, subscribe. Guys, we really work hard to try to get good content out there. Of course, we love it, and we wouldn't work as hard if we didn't love it.
Right.
But I mean, also, our website, it's newreality11.com. And if you want a reading, you can go there too. I'm limited in time, so it might be scheduled out some, but during the weekends, I try to give readings.
Absolutely. Also, and I know we've been saying this a lot, but we do residential cases. You guys have seen those a lot more videos of those are coming. If you guys know anybody, you yourself, you need an investigation, you don't know what's going on, you need some answers, hit us up. Let us know. All of our links are in the description.
Yes. And again, we can go in if you just want to figure out what it is, or you want us to try to help you figure out what it is, and you don't want a clearing. But we also clear. We can clear homes.
Absolutely.
We've had some of these that if you haven't seen them on YouTube, you should check them out. They've had some serious issues.
Yep.
And we went through and cleared it.
And for those listening, Shawn, what's our email again?
The email is
the email is
the newreality11@gmail.com.
Perfect. So send us an email, let us know, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, guys.